All right, so we have two wonderful features tonight. The one who's going to read first is John Foy, and I think known to many of us have been fortunate enough to hear him read before. He's a fantastic poet. His first book, Technis Clearinghouse, as many of you already have copies of it, I'm sure. His work was featured in the Swallow Anthology of New American Poetry and has appeared in many periodicals and journals. Some of the names I think you might recognize: The New Yorker, Poetry, The New Criterion, Parnassus, American Arts Quarterly, Raintown Review, Barrow Street, and of course many e-zines such as Kin, Umbrella, Line Break, The Nervous Breakdown, and others. John has an MFA from Columbia, of course, and has taught writing there and at the Harvard Business School and also at Barnard. And his reviews and essays have also appeared quite widely in Parnassus, Contemporary Poetry Review, and other publications. And some of you might have seen his blog last summer when he was a guest blogger for the Best American Poetry. We're really lucky that he's part of our poetry community. John Foy.
Well, thanks to Wendy and to Eric and Quincy for hosting this event, and I'm glad that everyone could come out. I think we have a nice full house here. It doesn't look like a fire hazard yet, but getting close. I'm going to read altogether 8 poems, and I am going to start. There's George Green, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome, George.
Hey, how are you?
So I'm going to start with my contribution to a very strange subgenre of poetry, which some of you may be familiar with. It's about mistakenly killing small animals with mowers, and it is a genre, and this is a take on it. And I'm very grateful to Meredith Bergman, who accepted this for publication recently in the American Arts Quarterly. Killing things. Maybe you'd agree that Robert Frost was lucky not to task the flesh of birds his tractor ran across. All they got was just a scare that left their nest exposed. So he and daughter tried to keep it right and cover them with ferns. But even he would never know if they survived that night. It was a hedgehog Philip Larkin killed, though by mistake. He actually went outside to mow the lawn like any man and caught this creature in the blades, the one he'd fed. What, in the end, could be more Larkinesque? He should have been more careful, but at least the hedgehog's death was instantaneous. When Wilbur accidentally killed a toad, it was the power mower once again. He clipped its leg and off it went to die beneath a cineraria. He used the words ebullient and emperies to talk about the life he'd compromised. What would Philip Larkin think of these? When my turn came, it happened in a field. I hadn't known that I'd gone over it. But there it was, a rabbit, much the worse for having been beneath the rotor blades. I'd laid its back right open to the bone, but it was still alive and looked at me. And then I had to kill it with a stone. This next, we have 2 children who are in high school, and they are, this is report card culture, and so that's very much in our minds, and this is where the next poem comes from. It's called Report Card. I got a B for being there, because I wasn't really there the night my father died. I was on business down in Baltimore and got the message back at home. I'd been with him that Saturday, but I was in the hospice then in spirit only when he died. In sadness, well, I got an A. It was a mandatory class. I got a C for taking care of animals, a dog I had. But there was nothing I could do when she was taken by disease. She went from chasing deer and swimming in the Delaware to lying crippled on the floor and left on pentobarbital. I took her body to the car and got an A in bitterness. I got a D for doing what my mother wanted me to do when she was in her final years. I gave her all the time I could. I kept the books and went each week to see her in a nursing home. And that was supposed to be the best, though it was not a place I'd ever want to have to smell for very long. I earned an A in sorrow there. An F is what I got for faith. My prayers were not that regular, and once a year I went to church, a failing in the eyes of those who like to monitor such things. But if you think of pain as prayer, why, I've been at it constantly. And were I graded on that curve, then I would get an A and know that I had earned the grade I got.